there's definitely going to be some dark side rituals that you need to tap into a certain frame of mind, because you have to accept that you are part of the oneness, but you are excluding the oneness of other people.
Right, yeah.
And that's what makes it the dark side, is that you are willing to hurt yourself because you ignore that it is part of yourself to do these things.
Dark side sucks. How dare they take me from my deserved place in the oneness?
And you too can be a part of the oneness by subscribing to our Patreon.
Stuart, that was dark side and you know it.
I do. Hello there. You've found the Lost Holocron, an ancient artifact of lore and legends from a galaxy far, far away. Each transmission of the Lost Holocron, you'll join an episodic discussion of media from a Star Wars universe. We will be your guides, slowly accelerating at us at a distance, at one distance per Tim squared.
Coming. Watch out.
Cruising along at a steady 1 Kyle per hour.
It's momentum, baby.
And inverting exponentiation is the natural Scott.
I wish I had something funny for that, but
I don't. And reaching even further for a pun, I am Stuart-ing to question my own sense of humor. I think most of these fell flat, but we will be covering much better material up to and including Chapter 28 of Dark Force Rising.
They're still
Tim, what happened so far?
All right. So far, Grand Admiral Thrawn has negotiated an alliance with Dark Jedi clone Joruus C'baoth, using the Jedi's battle meditation to bolster his campaign against the New Republic. Multiple failed attempts by the Empire to capture either Luke Skywalker or Leia Organa Solo have left C'baoth impatient with the alliance. Thrawn's campaign requires more warships, and he is willing to pay 20% above market value. While pursuing evidence to clear Admiral Akbar of allegations of treason, Han Solo and Lando Calrissian discovered a rebel splinter cell led by ex-Corellian Senator Garm Bel Iblis. Bel Iblis has 6 dreadnaughts of the Katana Fleet, and while he has his reservations about rejoining the Republic, he gave the location of the dealer who sold them their ships. They are unable to cover their tracks, and Grand Admiral Thrawn extracts the contact head of them with the help of ship thief Niles Ferrier. Talon Karrde, freed from Imperial detainment by Luke and Mara Jade, provides the location of the Katana Fleet to the New Republic. Ambitious politician Borsk Fey'lya simultaneously minimized and took command of the recovery mission to maximize his prominence in the recovery of the fleet. Anticipating Fey'lya's politicking and to preempt the Empire's recovery effort, Karrde sent Mara to rally his smuggler group, and had Leia send Han and Luke ahead with a secondary recovery team. Upon arriving, Luke directed the team towards the flagship Katana. Fey'lya's ship Quenfis is not far behind and orders the surrender and arrest of the renegade team. With the arrival of the Imperial Star Destroyer Judicator, Fey'lya instead orders the retreat, but in a bout of verbal maneuvering, Karrde has Fey'lya unintentionally betray his cold disposition of military lives to his subordinates. Captain Virgilio has him removed from Quenfis' command, deferring leadership to Leia. The Chimera is called for backup, but the untimely arrival of an indignant C'baoth forced Thrawn to send the peremptory in their stead. Scott, what happened this chapter?
Chapter 28. With Fey'lya out of the picture, Gold Squadron joins Rogue Squadron, commencing the battle for the Katana Fleet. Wedge leads a partially successful engagement against the boarding transports in defending ties. Aboard the Katana, the defenders booby-trap the hallways leading out of the hangar and give ground to overwhelming Imperial numbers. Luke can sense something is amiss with the boarding party troopers. Through the Force, he senses they are attempting to outmaneuver them, so Luke and Han look for a way to slow their progress while Lando and Chewbacca fall back to the bridge. From his command post aboard the Judicator, Captain Brandi is still waiting for peremptory to support, but the tide of the battle is not looking fortuitous. As he orders the Judicator into combat range, Karrde's smugglers drop out of hyperspace behind them. He orders the remaining recon and bomber squadrons to engage them. With her specialist knowledge of Imperial hardware, Mara is able to destroy the lower aft sensor package, allowing the smugglers to free run at the underside of the Star Destroyer. Mara radios with Karrde, morose in her assessment that, even with both sides expecting aid, a second Star Destroyer would spell disaster. Bel Iblis arrives unexpectedly, tipping the calculations in the New Republic's favor. Leia enthusiastically accepts his aid, and Bel Iblis uses the ion cannons of his dreadnaughts to enfeeble the Judicator. Having completed a sensor scan of the fleet, Karrde points out that there are only 15 of the original 200-odd ships left. The Imperials must have arrived earlier and started moving them out. The Preemptory drops out of hyperspace, splitting the New Republic front, outgunned despite the 6 dreadnaughts from Bel Iblis. Mara is hit and forced to eject, spitefully angling her ship at the hangar bay, putting her ejection in line with Bel Iblis' ion bombardment. She loses all electronics, including life support, and blacks out. Her last thoughts, begrudging Skywalker. Back on the Katana, Luke senses Mara is lost, frustration building. He single-handedly defeats their assailants by destroying the anteroom to the bridge, spacing the stormtroopers. Looking out at the struggle with 2 Star Destroyers, he champs at their lack of recourse. Han makes a last-ditch effort by taking remote control of the Katana Fleet. A single functional dreadnought responds, and Han uses it to ram into the Preemptory, sealing victory. Acknowledging defeat, Brandi orders the retreat.
I feel like Timothy Zahn must have some experience with tabletop role-playing games. Just the amount of encounters that end with environmental hazards, or his use of smashing the hallways, the walker that they find in the hallway to use, destroying the stone archways, using the tapestries on Bimasari, blowing up an anteroom to space all the troopers, and even one whole dreadnought crashing into the... And in the Sluis Van operation, using the override codes to drill through the entire fleet. This guy's a madman.
Mm-hmm. I like his ship battles quite a bit.
They're very creative.
Yeah.
You gotta give him that.
Yeah.
That's good. I like how he uses the environment as, it's kind of like a tool or weapon.
It definitely makes it, grounds it more. And you feel like, well, what can come out of all these tools? Rather than just, who's the bigger guy to throw the biggest punch?
Yeah. I thought all the booby traps on the head Katana ship was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We are vastly outnumbered, so let's just be really annoying.
Mm-hmm.
And see who we get along the way.
They, at one point, Han is like, oh, let's flood the place with coolant or some other chemical thing. And I thought, isn't chemical warfare a war crime? And I looked it up, and yes, it is a war crime to do these things. And apparently, the Geneva Convention on these things is to not use asphyxiants either. You can't choke people to death in a war zone because it's overly cruel. And so wouldn't all this, even him blasting them out into space, does that count as a war crime? What are the rules of engagement in a Star Wars universe?
Ooh,
I think they're referred to as the Geneva Suggestions. It's a playbook written by Han Solo himself. Yeah, I don't know what. I mean, I guess this really isn't the question of how deep into the horrors of war have we gotten in Star Wars, because I mean, force choking is a thing. I that would be pretty against Geneva Conventions. I feel,
and probably lightning too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and honestly, probably lightsabers. It seems. I mean, it's a clean cut, but it seems pretty horrifying too.
Also, do they care for the fact that the only real wars that we know about are mostly fought with droids and clone troopers?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, like they do have the idea that you can't use dirty bomb, you can't use nuclear weapons in their space, which is what was so bad about the Mandalorian war against the Old Republic, and which is what forced Revan to actually go to war, was
Oh,
because of those tactics.
right. But that was 3,000 years ago.
Yeah. So I guess they're doing a whole all's fair in love and war in this era.
Or maybe just Han.
I mean, yeah, that's the smuggling mindset, I guess, is
Yeah.
they're outside of the whatever
Luke's
works.
Luke's not going to report it.
Yeah.
I do like having heroes be in this position, though, of wreaking havoc and not necessarily just kicking the most ass.
Yeah.
I think it's a really creative way to situation to put your plot armor characters into.
Yeah. Particularly because of a point of desperation.
Yeah.
I really do appreciate the Han and Lando just being like, oh yeah, we know exactly what to do in this situation.
Yeah, they're right at home here.
You need chicanery. You need bamboozlement. It's got you covered.
Shenanigans.
You need Han and Lando.
Yeah. I like starting this chapter on Wedge's POV too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because we came back to him at some point, didn't we? Oh no, we went to Mara instead.
Yeah. We started with Wedge.
Hmm.
And I thought that was a good transition to like the space battle, especially as it's like just now starting.
Mm-hmm.
Just like right into the action there. And then because I feel like that would be like the biggest narrative momentum to start with in terms of this chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Because we go in and we're like expecting the space battle and we get a single shot. So like, why not just get right into it?
Yeah.
And then I feel like it also provides some context for the interior action too.
Yeah.
While also setting things up for the further space action when the smugglers and Garm Bel Iblis arrive. It's really smart on a few levels, I think, to start with Wedge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I felt like it was quite continuous as well. It was always moving.
Yeah. It felt like the most natural place to go after, Fey'lya is no longer in charge. We're here to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And them all deferring to Wedge in the end. They're all peeling off in ones and twos, coming in. And then Gold Leader, what can we do to assist Rogue Squadron?
Yeah. Let's go.
What did you get from Luke saying that the minds of the troopers were strange?
Ooh. I got the sense that C'baoth was having an influence.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that was like too obvious to have as a thing, because, you know, at first we have the Wedge making a comment that, oh, they've kept up with their training. That obviously hasn't atrophied over the time since we defeated the second Death Star.
Mm-hmm.
But then Luke coming in and saying, oh, these guys mentally are quite strange and they react very quickly. That, I guess Luke doesn't know that, so he shouldn't be able to say, oh, they're being bolstered by the Force or something like that. But
yeah, this would be new to him.
Yeah.
Do you think he was feeling like it was maybe like some kind of hive mind type thing?
Oh, I don't know what that would have felt like to him, but maybe strange was, I felt like an inadequate description of what was going on, because we as the audience know what's going on, that maybe having Luke figure something out of like either the presence feels similar to what he was experiencing on on where was he? Wayland? No, not Wayland. Where is C'baoth's castle?
C'baoth's everywhere.
You mean
Jormark.
in this book? Yeah, Jormark.
Yeah, Jormark. So either something was similar there, or that he could feel them being accelerated in some way, or coordinated, or like I just feel like strange was
bolstered
insufficient. Yeah, because we know what's going on, and I felt like that was a little bit too ambiguous for the mystery of what's going on. That could have been a little bit more descriptive.
Yeah, it did kind of like go right over my head a bit. I mean, not go over my head, but like it just kind of unceremoniously passed over.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like is it shouldn't have been so much a mystery as like we realize what's going on, but we don't know how it, or Luke doesn't know how it's going on. And it's that old bomb under the table problem of how do you do that without being disruptive, I guess. No, I don't know. Tim, what was the word you just used now to unceremonious? How do you do that without being unceremonious?
Wait, sorry, repeat the question.
I was going to say, how do you approach this situation without it being unceremonious? That you've got the bomb under the table and everybody's just like, oh, well, there's a bomb under the table. We have to panic now. Or like, we have to be worried about the situation. But like, we already know that the situation is going on. How do you communicate the flow? Because he's done a lot of good setup to say like, okay, C'baoth is going to be bolstering these troops. So we know the mechanics of what's going on. We know who is pushing in either direction. But like, how do we have that from Luke's perspective? And because from Wedge's perspective, it was like, oh, these guys are more coordinated than I expected. So that was good. I felt like that was appropriate in that situation. But then when we get Luke's point of view, like you said, it was a little unceremonious, like, oh, strange feelings twice. So
I'm not sure Luke thinks that deeply in the moment. He just kind of like, oh, weird, gotta get him. Yeah,
maybe that's the case.
And honestly, maybe it didn't shake him that much, like the same way it would have shaken Wedge. Because Luke is more powerful than Wedge.
Is he?
Like considerably, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Barely.
Yeah, barely. So to him, it would have been like, "Ooh, weird. This is an interesting new mob to deal with." Like, yeah.
No.
Whereas Wedge is like, "Oh man, I'm level 30. I'm amongst a level 60 crew."
How much prep time does Wedge get?
Yeah.
In a basic, I don't know, role-playing setting, what is the average person supposed to be? Are they level 5?
Nothing.
A level... Nothing? A level 1?
Yeah. That's what I imagine.
But surely just going about your life, you've got a few levels in, not in your bard or your rogue or whatever, but like a level 2 human with no speciality would be like a teenager, right? Or a young adult.
What? In Elden Ring, all your stats, strength, dexterity, etc., go from 0 to 99, and 20 is like peak human.
Okay.
Once you go above that, you're at the superhuman or even supernatural level of ability.
Right. Okay.
So a couple different examples there.
Yeah, because I'd say like even in, your classic D&D, level 20 is peak human or peak. I mean, even in Knights of the Old Republic, level 20 is your max level in the first game.
Right, yeah, it is.
That is peak human in that setting. Or peak soldier or whatever. So
peak main character.
Yeah. When we played D&D back in high school, we'd always start at level 10 because we who knows when we would get to play next. So, we always started with like level 10 stats and all the points and everything.
The struggle is the point.
Yeah.
I mean, the games that I played, I started at level 1, and like you barely have any skills or anything at level 1. So,
speak for yourself.
Which is why I think average humans aren't level 1s. They're level 3s, 5s? I don't know.
No, I don't think so. They have 1 hit point.
If you are below average human, you are an NPC.
I don't know. Some NPCs are unstoppable.
Yeah, but even the NPCs in the towns have like monster level 2 or something, right?
I guess here's what here's a good way to put it is that you could stab a level 1 player and they'll take that 1 hit and they'll survive it. Most people die with 1 stab.
Depends on where it is.
Sure.
If it's a critical hit, maybe if it's stabbed in the neck or something.
See, but this is where I feel like we get into what is game mechanics and what are they supposed to map onto in real life. And hit points, I don't feel like reflect how much damage you can take, but reflect a kind of probability that the next hit will send you down.
I have to contemplate this.
Good point. I like that thinking.
Yeah, because I would imagine like you have, out of 20 hit points, you've got 5 hit points gone. That like, have you actually been hit in that time, or like, is it just grazings or near misses that put you in a state that makes you more likely to be hit in the future?
I like this way of thinking.
I feel like it makes better storytelling as well.
So when I'm leveling up my health, I'm just leveling up my combat skill. Prowess. Yeah.
Combat prowess, combat confidence. It takes much more to shake you.
Yes.
Yeah. And a little bit your stamina as well. Because when you're low on health, you're not going to be reacting as quickly to block or, parry or whatever you can do to avoid a blow.
It's true. We need to make a real life stat system.
What do you think would be on that list?
I think we'll spend the rest of our lives working on it. And we'll probably rebalance at multiple points.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that'll be our project over the next books.
Yes. We'll do it alongside building Death Stars.
The proper way.
Which will prove to be the bigger of 2 tasks.
Honestly, I feel like the Death Stars might be easier.
We got to figure out, are they onion shaped
or tomato?
Yeah.
And that's why we're building 2. And that's why I feel like, building 1 Death Star, that'll be fine. But building 2 is why I feel like maybe it's about the same as trying to make new stat blocks.
Flat Death Star.
Do you think the Katana Fleet ships are onion or tomato?
Kit Kat.
Yeah, probably. They've got a shielding layer on the outside and then wafer layers on the inside.
The shooting being chocolate, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, just a second.
That's the hull on the outside. Actually, that's probably a better.
Or would the wrapper be the shield?
The wrapper is the shield. The chocolate is the hard hull, and then the wafer is the decks on the inside.
Yeah, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
I love Kit Kats. Damn it, I wish I had one.
Me too. I can't have this late night craving.
Mm-mm.
Last night it was Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Rubbing Tim's face in it again.
Still craving it.
Speaking of shields, I like how the we get a mention of shielding negating long range communication. I feel like that's a good like mechanical thing of the universe that tells us what is possible and not possible in combat.
Yeah.
And why things might take a long time to, like, for example, in the previous chapter, it's like, how long does it take for us to jump to light speed? Well, 1, you got to make the calculation, and 2, you got to pull everybody in, 3, like, you probably have to drop your shields in order to make those calculations and connect with, I don't know, the grid.
Prepare the ship for ludicrous speed.
There's a moment in the novel when Luke says that he thinks Mara's lost. Do you think he meant physically or emotionally?
I think he meant.
Mm.
I think he meant physically. I don't know. Yeah.
I think he meant emotionally, and that Han took it as physically.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we know from real life context that Mara's going to be this big character and Luke's wife in the end.
What?
But
Wait, what?
granted that...
No way.
All right, reverse that.
Okay, go.
How would you feel if this had been the end of Mara? Do you feel like this is a satisfying conclusion to her
No.
character?
Absolutely not.
No.
No? What do you want out of Mara?
I don't know. More of an arc?
I want her to be good guy.
But this
I
is
want her
her
to be more
hubris of like,
ambiguous.
I can crash my ship and still make it out of here as a big cue in the face of the Empire. And she crashes her craft into them and then jumps out and thinks, oh no, my spite and bitterness for all this is my undoing. Like, that's a pretty good
idea.
Is that
The
a quote from
Empire,
the book?
Mara. We're in Dark Force Rising now.
Now we're rooting for her.
Yes.
This character arc has a curve now.
Yeah, I do really like her pointing at the ship. She's like, well, why not?
Yep, go out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah. It's nice.
Well,
I mean, maybe I could have accepted it because she didn't end up killing Luke, so there's some progression there.
but she does feel like she's
worked with him.
failed the Emperor one more time.
One last
So, like,
thing.
That would make her story a tragedy if she died at this point.
Yeah, and I mean that's the evil of the Empire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, sure, yeah, it could have happened.
But unsatisfying for most of these readers.
Well, maybe I can't speak for them. Let us know what you think, guys.
I mean, you three, you all said no, Mara can't die here.
I just said I think it would be not satisfactory.
Yeah.
I honestly think this would be, if she died here, I would be like, okay.
I feel like more can be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had Lando's death fake out in the first book, and now we've got Mara's death fake out in this book. Who do you think is going to be the death fake out of the next book, the last book in the trilogy?
Chewie.
I don't know. For some reason, the first person that came to my head was Leia, but I have no idea
I
why.
thought Chewie too, actually. And I was like, no, I don't want to do Chewie.
Maybe Karrde.
Yeah.
Karrde could go through a death fake out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good one. Yep.
Yeah.
What about Lando?
We
Again?
already had it.
Again? Oh, that's right. We already had one.
I mean,
But
sure,
this time
why not?
more dramatic.
What about Wedge? Is he not a big enough character?
All right, this is Wedge Antilles we're talking about.
Okay, never mind.
Hey, it's me, Wedge Antilles.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think a Wedge death fake out would be pretty interesting. Maybe an Akbar death fake out.
Mm.
Nah, Akbar's a little bit too on the side of this story, I think.
That
Think about it. It's been Lando who's been front and center, Mara who's been front and center. It's got to be part of the main crew.
But maybe it's how he proves his
Thrawn?
innocence.
Maybe.
He's like, no, you guys actually do care. And they're like, oh, you clearly didn't embezzle anything. Yeah. I am willing to lay down my life for this government. I'm not stealing their money.
What about a death fake out on the antagonist side?
That would be interesting. Pelion?
I can see that.
I was actually thinking Fey'lya, but
I was actually
we
thinking
don't really know
C'baoth.
where he is at this point. C'baoth?
Yeah.
I would be kind of dissatisfied with that.
Yeah.
I like to think of him as like a nuisance that persists.
I feel like he's reaching his apotheosis in terms of raw power and chaotic potential, and that could get stale pretty quickly.
So you need Avatar Luke to come in and remove him of his bending powers.
Yes. That is the natural next step, to depower him.
And then that's how he takes the madness from him. The Force was the source of his madness all along.
Oh no.
I do kind of think, I don't know, for some reason I kind of like the idea of the Force being like a disadvantage or a hindrance to people.
The Achilles heel to all
Yeah.
Sith is their want for more power, or their fear of losing it.
Like a detriment to them, yeah.
I guess more the dark side and not the Force itself.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Because it kind of felt like Mara's nightmares and headaches or whatever were caused. I don't know. The impression I got was kind of caused by the Force, but
I mean, certainly because she's relieved of them among the Isalamiri. So
yeah,
but it's dark side stuff.
It is dark side stuff. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Because the light side is supposed to be peaceful. And...
Yeah.
Harmony.
The light side hits in about an hour and makes everything taste extra good.
Like Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah.
Kyle, you got anything tasty on your end?
No.
Oh,
We're not asking for any particular reason.
I'll send you some Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I didn't
You
plan
still
it.
owe me some.
I know, I owe you some too, Tim. Have you ever had Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Stuart? Do they have that there?
No. No.
Have you ever had sugar, Stuart?
Like square-shaped, crunchy cinnamon sugar.
Just pour a bowl of sugar and some milk.
American food.
Yeah.
There you go. That's some fine cuisine there.
That's some fine dining.
Yeah.
Start your day off right with this breakfast.
Yes.
Let's talk about this anti-infantry vehicle. Looking into what possibly a small ATST could be, I found that it was an ATPT, which is an all-terrain personal transport.
Oh, it's so cute.
Kind of like the one we see like in Attack of the Clones, right? Or
oh yeah, I guess so.
Kind of like the open top.
This one.
Oh,
huh?
No, not one of those.
Not one of those.
Okay. I think that was in Revenge of the Sith with the clones using them on Kashyyyk, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But the first appearance, according to the appearances in the appearance section of this article, says that it was first in this book, Dark Force Writing. So that's why I'm guessing that this is the right one that I found. But I know that Tim has an issue with Luke not being able to lift it, and I also have an issue with Luke not being able to lift it.
Yeah, why can't Luke lift this thing?
All right, so I think there's two issues with this, right? One is the framing of should Luke be able to lift something like this? What is it that causes the lifting of heavy objects by the Force? And the other is it actually possible? Because on my second and third readings, it stood out to me that it said that this ATPT is wedged, possibly. So it could physically not be able to move.
Does that mean Wedge put it there?
No, it means we need Wedge to get it out. This is his area of expertise.
This is the one area that Wedge is stronger than Luke.
Yeah.
But Tim, what's your issue with this? What are you champing at?
I'm just like, Yoda lifted the X-wing in front of him. Luke went through his whole "Yeah, I'm a Jedi now" thing. I feel like it's a thing he should just be able to do now.
Yeah, I was a little annoyed too. I'm like, wait, really? He can't do that?
Mm.
Like, he should be at the point where he understands there's no difference between the heavy thing and the light thing.
Right. Yeah.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's what it symbolizes, is inexperience? Because there's a reason why you can't, right? I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Why have it part of the story at all if it's not a point at that question? Is it just to prove that he can't pick up heavy things with his mind for plot convenience?
Yeah, like, why is it being done?
Mm. Which comes to my issue with the framing of this, is that he's not strong enough in the Force to do this. And as you point out, like, it is not the spoon that bends, it is you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And Luke should know that lesson by now.
Okay, so let's look at it a different way. Is there anything messing with him emotionally or mentally that could make him less receptive to the flow of the Force and therefore unable to do it?
Crushing anxiety.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, later in the scene, he is frustrated that he can't do more to help the other people.
Okay.
He doesn't feel connected to the battle around him.
So he's off balance.
I mean, to be fair, like, the whole situation is just not exactly going his way.
Mm-hmm. So maybe that is like strengthening the illusion that he is separate from his environment, or
he's getting in his head.
Yeah. And maybe because he is framing it as it's heavy, so I need to be strong, is why it doesn't work.
Could be it, yeah. I didn't
I'm
fully get that
satisfied with that
impression,
answer.
though. Yeah, I didn't fully get that impression from it, but I also don't feel like the book goes against it in a way. Like, I think it fits.
Yeah.
Even if it may not have been the intention.
Yeah. Part of the framing, right, is what is unreliable about the narrator that you're looking through in that moment. And we were looking through Luke's eyes, so we do have his spin on what's going on here. But like you pointed out, he passed those trials before, and Yoda is, and comparing the strength in that way, I feel like is not authentic to the Luke that we got at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
But I guess this is the Empire Strikes Back of this trilogy, so...
Yeah. And I think another thing is that, just a natural part of continuing characters is that they have to be weaker at different points according to different challenges, especially when you have something that works the way the Force does.
Yeah.
So Luke is going to have harder times in his life based on what he's dealing with. But then he'll get stronger out of it because he'll continue to mature and grow.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this Luke is questioning basic morality, so I don't think he's in a great spot.
And to think of it, I think maybe C'baoth, didn't have the full effect that he hoped to, but like, Luke went into the situation saying, "Well, I just need some tips so that I can train them in the Force." And C'baoth's like, "Do you think you're anywhere near where you should be to tell anyone anything about the Force?"
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe C'baoth's having an effect right now too with the battle meditation.
Sure.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
Organizing his own forces, disorganizing the Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Could be the case.
Along with making Luke question and doubt himself previously.
Seems very effective.
Oh, that's C'baoth.
Maybe the Force is like Santa Claus.
Not just a pretty torso.
Yeah, I think to a degree the Force is like Santa Claus, where the more you believe in it, the stronger he gets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
like
if he
Santa,
doesn't believe
like
he's
from Elf.
as good at the Force as he is, now he can't. Now he's always not.
I think a more accurate way to put it is like how your mental state is really. Because I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
matter of believing the Force, but more a matter of oh man, there's a more elegant way to put it that my 2:30 a.m. brain cannot do right now. Stuart, take it away. I think you get what I'm getting at.
I'm trying to get what you
no,
mean by mental state, because like C'baoth is leaning his marbles, but has a very clear grip on the Force.
Oh yeah,
I think
He's
it's
not-
it's that spoonness of
yeah,
I'm not the spoon's not bending, I'm bending. I have a oneness with my environment that means that there's no difference between me, my will, and the things that are around me.
yeah.
But having, was the opposite of ego dissolution. It would be ego solidification, ego crystallization that's going on here that makes him, I don't know, both not confident that he is connected to these things and able to have an influence, but also I had another point as well, but it's slipping my mind now.
All right, Scott, now you take over.
Yeah, it's Scott's turn. Scott, tell us about the Force.
I'm trying. I don't know. I think C'baoth, like, he has like a much. It's so much easier for him to actually use the Force, but the way he uses it is just very questionable. I don't know. I'm also very tired, so.
That's
No,
okay.
I think, I
He's
think it's
clear
like
in
two
his
separate
purpose.
skills. Yeah, he's clear in his purpose. He feels that oneness with what's around him, but he just also doesn't have volition to, I don't know, keep all his marbles in the bag.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if he feels the oneness with all around him.
Or
You
he
don't?
feels.
No, I think he feels the oneness between everything, but I don't think he sees himself as part of that. I think he
It
sees
seems
himself
like
as above
he
it.
is the one.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say, I think
Yeah.
he when you say the oneness, he's number one, baby.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he is the
exactly.
one.
Yeah, right. Oh
Hmm.
man, that's why he
He's
views normal
still the
people so
one.
lowly too, because he's like, "There's no difference between you and this rock floating behind my head."
He loves his
Yeah.
rock. You stop.
Yeah, yeah. Dark side's interesting.
Yeah.
So, I have a point in my a good thought in my head, and I'm trying so hard to actually
Say words, and we'll see if we can
say a
guess
word.
Yeah, we got editing, baby.
it. Yeah.
Do you think C'baoth is consciously using the dark side of the Force, or do you think that's just like he thinks he's using the Force the way he's using the Force because he wants to use it in such a way, justifies it and makes it the light side, I guess, or whatever.
I think he's kind of like a gray Jedi.
Yeah, I guess when you say
Tim, we don't like that term around here.
Yeah,
No, I mean
we're
like
not team great.
I
know what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm saying he's what someone that calls himself a gray Jedi would actually be. Oh, there's no difference between these things. You are clearly doing bad things, dude. There is a difference.
right.
Yeah, I think his ego justifies. Oh, I'm using the dark side of the Force, so therefore it's okay to use. Yeah.
Yeah. Or he would be like, oh, what a small-minded thing to think that there is a light side and a dark side. It's all just the Force.
Yeah.
Mm.
That could be. Yeah.
Either one is possible. Yeah.
That feeds into my theory that the dark side and the light side is a misnomer, or is separate from the Force itself. So the dark side of the Force is the dark side, because I've talked before about how accessing the Force is about focus and a state of flow, right? and we're talking about this oneness right now, and the dark side provides a way to do that. The force is just the force. It's just like gravity. It's a force, but then the dark side of the force is how you're approaching it, because the C'baoth's approach is one of like authoritarianism. He's imposing his will on things rather than trying to be in a natural state of things. There isn't a flow in the same way that the supposed light side of the force creates, or you have power over suggestion, or
say balance in the force creates
balance. Yeah. That you are. Yeah, the light side of the force is being among the balance to use it, whereas you are creating leverage on the dark side because you're trying to force outcomes through the force.
Right. Yeah.
And that's why I don't like the like light side, dark side discussions, because it's not like there's a pull, there is the force and then there's a dark pull and a light pull. It's just there is an untapped energy potential out there, and whether you're using your knife to stab somebody, that's the dark side, but if you're using it to like start a fire with a flint or something, it's a morality placed over a tool, not the tool itself.
So you're a potentium guy.
I'm a what?
Potentium, the potentium theory of the force.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that.
It's one that Kyle Katarn had. He said it in Jedi Academy.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. There's no inherently good or evil. It's how you use it.
Yeah. Which I think is true to a degree.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I do think it's true. I just think it can also be horribly misunderstood and misused.
I think it can backfire pretty substantially too. Like if you try to use force lightning for good,
to tase someone,
jumpstart what?
To tase someone.
Oh, tase. Oh, okay. Well, here I was thinking about use force lightning to like jumpstart a vehicle or something.
Yeah.
But, it seems like tapping into the part of the force that allows you to do that can easily corrupt you, I guess.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the case, and like there's definitely going to be some dark side rituals that you need to tap into a certain frame of mind of like willingness to hurt other people, because you have to accept that you are part of the oneness, but you are excluding the oneness of other people in the oneness.
Right. Yeah.
You are cutting out parts of the one, or excluding those things, or discounting those things, and that's what makes it the dark side, is that you are willing to hurt yourself because you ignore that it is a part of yourself to do these things. And like, yes, you can use lightning to start a car, but there's no way to use lightning to tickle fingers the guy across the road because he's got a gun. Respectfully, you have to do that by discounting their presence in the oneness.
Ooh, that's a good point. It's a good way to look at it. Dark side sucks. What a bunch of assholes. How dare they take me from my deserved place in the oneness?
We need to read more Buddhism something, so we've got better words to describe what this is.
We do.
Oneness.
But oneness also sounds so cozy.
It sounds warm.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Warmness, oneness.
Yeah.
And you too can be a part of the oneness by subscribing to our Patreon.
Stuart, that was dark side and you know
I do. And come join us on Discord or somewhere else where you can talk with us and
We will make
Be
you
a
our
part of the-
acolytes.
Oneness of the discussion.
It
yeah,
is
yeah,
your
yeah.
destiny.
Yeah.
It is your destiny.
Maybe you can be an apprentice someday.
You can become a different tiers of apprentices based on your Patreon level.
Oh, you thought we were light side? Oh no, there's a reason our logo was the Sith holocron.
All right, I'm fine to discard some of these
Yeah.
points. That one that I do want to ask is that it just occurred to me that like Luke is pumping his hand at some point when he's looking out at the space battle, and it gave me flashbacks to Return of the Jedi, when he looks at Vader's dismembered hand and then looks at his own hand and then looks out at the space battle, and I'm thinking like, oh, maybe he feels, and maybe this feeds back into why he can't lift the thing, is because he's having some emotional blockage from like, this reminds me a lot about my position in the Battle of Endor.
Yeah, he struggles when he can't help his friends or people he cares about or anything he cares about.
Yeah.
It's a big struggle for him.
Well, then the other point in that scene is that Han is supposed to be the clever one. Is Han the clever one?
I think sometimes.
I think he's the opportunist one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there must be a reason that he made general and Luke only made commander.
Yeah, Luke didn't really get that from Anakin. That passed over him.
Yeah. Leia got more of that, I think.
Yeah. Leia got the best traits. Luke just got the power.
Right. I'm interested to see how Leia would do like in a dogfight, if she's a good pilot or not.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh,
Never
yeah,
seen
that's a
her
good
behind,
point. So Luke probably got the technical skill.
Yeah.
We know he does well with droids. So.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you guys want to talk about?
I'm pretty satisfied.
I don't know. I think there was something, but I'm good. I think I'll think about it later, of course.
So, Rebels won.
Rebels won at the end of the day, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but did they? Because all the ships got taken.
Yeah, most of them actually, yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess that's the thing to touch
So
on.
they've only got 14
Okay.
left because they also destroyed one.
Right. Yeah. Right. They did.
But they got like the best one.
Oh wait. Yeah. So they kamikazed one of theirs. I thought they were kamikazing one of the ones that the Empire already had.
No.
Oh, okay.
When I was reading that, I'm still like, they get there and like a bunch of them are gone, and they're like, oh man, the only other person, Thrawn, must have got him. It's like I still think there's a good chance they're just out. They just got slowly taken away. Like I think.
How do we know? Yeah, right. How do we know there were 200 when Thrawn got a hold? How do we know there wasn't like 50?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I'm sure that I'm just overthinking it in a way that's Timothy Zahn didn't expect, but it's like they've just been out there for a long time.
Yeah.
In 20 years they can drift apart, right? They weren't like powered, they were just drifting, right? They could have drifted like
Maybe some of them crashed into each other and blew up.
multiple lightning. Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the point Kyle's trying to make is like Hoffner has been slowly selling them one by one every time he needs a infusion for his gambling addiction.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah,
That too.
But yeah, definitely. I'm sure he has them. I'm sure. Yeah. Sure, it was just Thrawn.
It's fun to have Bel Iblis show up.
that was cool.
Help out.
Yeah. I liked how he was like, "Oh, this is not an official request from the New Republic," and Leia's like, "Now it is."
He's like,
I like
"Alrighty then."
Yeah.
Well, let's go.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Fun interaction.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I like how
Yeah,
she's like, please log that.
Yes.
in my head, he sounded particularly crestfallen when she was like, "Oh no, we haven't even talked," and you're like, "Oh, okay."
She's like,
so
"Wait, you're alive?" She's like, "Wait, you're alive?" I like how Karrde was like, it said something about that along those lines too.
I thought he was dead. Yeah.
I thought he was dead. Yeah, I like the Karrde was like, I thought he was dead.
You show up to save the day, and that's what people say about you. Like, wait, what? This is why isolationism is not always the best.
Yeah. So yes, another Pyrrhic victory at the end of the second book. The first book too,
Oh man.
but this is much more Dark Knight of the Soul. Very much following the kind of plot structure of the original trilogy in that way. Well, maybe not the plot structure, but like the tension, I guess.
Yeah.
The narrative tension of the trilogy is following that. And J.J. Abrams, that's how you do it. Nah, The Force Awakens is fine as a homage, but it's...
I think it should have been a much subtler homage.
Yeah.
Not so freaking obvious.
I mean, it was going to be a slam dunk anyway. You could have done anything you wanted. And
Right.
all right, this is not the time to be talking in these terms.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, we got one chapter to go.
Yep.
Is Mara going to be saved? How many dreadnaughts did they make away with? Will Bel Iblis join the New Republic? I guess
good question.
that and more we might get hints at in the next chapter.
Find out next time.
Anything else, guys? Last
Did
chance.
this go the way you guys expected?
Not really. I think I expected the New Republic to get more of the ships. Maybe not all of them, but at least significantly more.
I felt like I was led to expect some kind of New Republic victory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that this is what happened, but I also have, like, I don't know, it's a confusing feeling.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, I felt like, with Karrde's forces showing up and then Bel Iblis showing up, I feel like they should have had a, more successful retrieval.
But I'm also, like, impressed by that.
I
Because
am
it feels
too.
like the rug was pulled out from under you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And that I feel like is cool because we didn't necessarily expect that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's the tension though, and that's a good tension to have.
It is.
That
Yeah.
the victory that they got at the end of the day was more of bringing everybody together, despite not having the material victory of getting the
So like The Last Jedi?
Well, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, that's on the point of bringing everyone together. It's cool that Bel Iblis, his team, is kind of like exposed, and he's like, Leia now knows that they're around, and she'll probably ask them to join them.
I mean, this is the showing up, everybody showing up to band together to fight the big bad that should have been in The Rise of Skywalker.
Right.
They're the spark that'll light the fire that'll take the Imperial remnant down.
Yep.
Yeah.
The spark that lights the fire to fire the what are those? The flames of Gondor, the beacon of Gondor.
Yeah, the beacons. The beacons are lit. The beacons are lit.
Yeah.
Which is not how it was in the books, but I do like the way they did it in the movies.
We can have both. Both.
I think that the movies was definitely more dramatic.
I mean, you gotta work it for screen.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Different communication methods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very well done.
Yeah, not how I thought this one would end either. But I'm glad that like Thrawn seems like a real threat, which up until now he's been losing a lot of battles, and him mustache
Yeah.
twirling and saying, well, it's not everything. Come
Yeah.
now, dear Paleon. Surely you see our final victory.
And now one of the schemes he's actively been working on, he actually got a victory in.
Yeah, and I feel like that puts him as a big threat, or like that I don't know, adds to his resume, I guess, in a way that like there's a bunch of memes of how Thrawn is portrayed as like in the original trilogy as 5D chess master, and then down to his fighting against the teenagers in Rebels, and he's playing tic-tac-toe off the board.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe the final chapter could change things, and we find out he just got like 2 ships. Guess I'll find out.
Find out next time. This has been The Lost Holocron. You can find transcripts, links to discussion, and more at our website, lostholocron.com. While you're there, you can learn how you can support the creation of future episodes. Read on, and we'll be waiting for you in the next transmission. We'll be honored if you would join us.